remix de Solar One, Sei Feie Podcast.
Thou sayest of science fiction, I bring thou to you from thy furthest parts of the galaxy. I bring Goclod, master of science fiction, master of radio shows, and what an awesome channel. And
Yes.
by the gods of science fiction,
You
thou
are.
shalt say thy name.
There's an episode of Star Trek Next Generation called Thine Own Self with Data, where he gets damaged, and that's the closest thing I could think of to match the way that you're speaking to me this afternoon. Do you want to elaborate why you're speaking in a more of a sort of Shakespearean kind of aspect?
Jay, I'm going to RADA for 5 weeks.
Okay.
It's of course it's not for prestige, it's thou, oh God, to be or not to be, that
Shut up.
is the question.
This is going to get on my nerves, I can tell you that. Oh my God. Oh, blimey.
Is this Patrick Stewart went there?
Yeah, I know, but he was also in, what was that awful science fiction film he was in, which has just been remade?
Life Force.
No, not Life Force. What's the one with the
Another one.
The Spice. What's the one with the Spice?
That.
What's it called?
June.
Oh my God, that original was shite. It was terrible. But
Well,
yeah,
the original version's over 6 hours long.
oh, the one with Patrick Stewart was terrible.
Well, I won't be sitting through that anytime.
No. I like the new pack. I like the new one, which was done. Was it last year? Then part 1 of 2. But yeah. But anyway, listen. Very interesting. At some point, if you want to, I don't know, share anything with us, and
No. Well, I'll quickly say I put some friends in here were doing a sitcom pilot. Some of us helped out on the day, and we offered several courses at RADA for
oh, that's really good.
for doing it. So
Brilliant.
I thought, well, I've never been to RADA. It's different. It's an experience.
Oh my, you'll have a great time. You'll have a good time. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's one night a week for 5 weeks. Yes, I thought, yeah, why not?
That's right.
Plus, it's good, isn't it? Just people, I went to RADA. Yeah,
Something to put in the old
That's all
CV,
you
eh?
need to
Yeah,
say, innit?
exactly.
I
Well,
went to RADA.
no, but I would hope that above the CV you would also say that you were a co-host on the Solar One Sci-Fi podcast.
Of course, I would not
Yeah, I
forget
mean,
you.
Forget RADA.
I'm going to bring you along. I'm going to take you to RADA because your head you'll be on my phone when I'll stick you on a stand and you'll be there. Like your head will be
Stick me on a stand.
Thou sayest not.
Oh,
thou.
blimey. If you watch The Walking Dead, there are scenes where they stick zombie heads on sticks and like that, and of course
Really?
zombies and they're still alive because the unless the brain is killed, the zombies will still talk like. And I'm just visualising myself out of something out of The Walking Dead where you're going, thine art is on that pole. Thine art is a former zombie. Anyway, I digress. We are this week going to be talking about a couple of things. First of all, Patrick Stewart, again, back in Picard, Season 3, Episode 2. Talking about Mandalorian, which is about to start, and we've got a focus of the week. So, which one did you want to talk about first?
I think we should we do focus of the week first?
If you want, yeah, we can go. Why not? It's nice to chop and change it around, but
Yes.
let's go for it.
Thou agree.
Thine jingle will now feature on Thou channel. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi.
focus of the week.
Alright, so this week we're talking about a film which I've only seen a couple of times, and it's a good film. It's odd, it's almost like a comedy, it's almost like a parody of horror, but there's something about it, for me at least, that actually works. And I actually refreshed my memory by watching it over the weekend, and that was, of course, Maximum Overdrive, which I think came out in about 1982 or something. It features Emilio, is it Emilio Estevez?
Brother of Charlie Sheen, son of Marcy.
Who was also in Free Jack, which is another good film.
Yeah, I love that. I want to talk about that.
I thought about
years.
Free Jack.
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, Mick Jagger. Yeah.
Mick Jagger as Spendecker.
Yeah, and a time traveler. That's the one. Okay, another week. Anyway, so
Right,
this
okay.
week,
Thou sayest not.
thine motor cars feature in thou film, and thine have the power to do things by themselves. All right.
Thy nay does thy agree. That
because
does,
because that actually we're going to stop this because people are getting
Well,
really sick of this.
let's get back to normal.
But the film does feature a beginning where it's a weird start because you see the Earth, you see this like greenish mist forming around it apparently it's from a comet or something.
Yes.
And it is alien intelligence which somehow interacts with machinery, and it's got the guy in it, a very funny scene in it where the guy that's in the Mandalorian, the Moff Gideon, who's also he's in it and in a role, very young, and he's in this arcade where suddenly he's by a machine and suddenly all these coins start coming out, and then he starts looking at this fruit machine and seeing all these sort of symbols. He's becoming hypnotized, and then he gets killed off. What did you think about this film?
Hey, have you looked into the back history of this film?
I know. I'm actually going to look up Wikipedia.
Stephen King was totally coked off his brains when he did this.
He directed it, and he makes a cameo
his
as
first
well.
film, I think.
It
as
was.
well.
It was,
I don't think he directed any more after.
No,
this.
I said it's a Stephen King film. I thought he's been in quite a few films in like small like cameos. But this surprised me because it was his film.
They wouldn't let him on the studio lot. He turned up on a motorbike and he had long hair and a beard. He said to the security, he said, I'm here to direct a film about a load of killer trucks that are controlled by aliens. And then he went off his head and said, we don't believe you work on film set. And it was financed by Dino De Laurentiis, funny enough.
Okay.
And the backstory, I mean, apparently he was really good to work with, but he was just, I think he was just making it up as they were going along. But he did write the short novels to this.
So did he write? So this wasn't, because normally his stuff is adaptations from his novels. Are you saying this is the other way around, where basically he wrote this for a film?
No, I think it was a book. Hang on, let me just double
I'm actually
check.
doing the Wikipedia as we talk as well.
Yeah, I'm on the. I set it up. Maximum Overdrive is a science fiction comedy horror
film written and directed by Stephen King.
Yeah,
Film
and
stars.
it bombed.
Did it?
Yeah, it was loose. The screenplay was inspired and loosely based on King's short story Trucks,
right,
which was included in the author's first collection of short stories, Night Shift.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm having a swig of coffee. This is like I said, this must be one of the early. I mean, when did Stephen King start writing books? Because he's been writing books for decades, hasn't he?
He must be. He wrote a load of them. Have we covered Cat's Eyes, didn't we?
No, I've not seen Cat's Eyes.
Oh, I do recommend you should watch it. It's very good.
Is it a TV movie or is it a proper movie?
No, it made for cinema. I don't think it did that well, but it's got a massive cult following.
I
won't give you any spoilers. It's very good. I really would like to get a copy of it. It sells for stupid amounts of money online. The film.
We're going to review Christine in a few weeks' time. I've already done the graphics for it. Was that a Stephen King film novel? The Christine.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. He's done that.
So, yeah, that's when he was sort. There was a time when you remember Clive Barker. I never got into Clive Barker. I know you're more
horror. Yeah.
But they're like, you remember, like they had the 4 to 5 years when it were all Clive Barker books, and everybody who reading it were Clive Barker films. But we went through a stage of a lot of Stephen King miniseries, didn't we?
Like The Stand was one I think of. Tommy Knockers.
He wrote
Tommy Knockers. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Tommy Knockers.
Yeah.
But, Maximum Overdrive. This went to cinema, and it didn't even get its money back.
Can I just read this bit about it on Wikipedia? It says Maximum Overdrive was theatrically released on the 25th of July 86 to generally negative reviews from critics. It was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Director for Stephen King and Worst Actor for Emilia Estevez. In 1987, both lost to Prince for Under the Cherry Moon in 1988. Maximum Overdrive was nominated for Best Film at the International Fantasy Film Awards. King disowned the film, describing it as a moron movie and considered the process a learning experience, after which he intended never to direct again. So he disowned it. He actually disowned the movie. I didn't know that.
I know.
I didn't think it was that bad. I think it was quite a fun. It wasn't exactly.
I watched. I caught bits of it over the weekend, and and some today. I quite. It's not bad. I
it's
saw
alright.
Alex Cox covered it.
Oh, he always covers all these sorts of films, doesn't he?
I know. I did. I think that was the first time I saw this, actually. The first time I saw this when Sky come out.
Oh, okay.
Sky, I
was
got
late
one of the
80s, wasn't it?
First, yeah, one of the first Sky boxes. It was on offer,
Yeah.
and I got it, and it was on the Sky Movie Channel, and I watched it for the first time. I remember the poster, and I just didn't bother with it, and I watched it, and I remember renting it out, and I thought it was a good film.
Yeah. I don't mind this film at all. I don't mind it.
It's over the top. And it is a bloodfest. I mean, the whole film is a complete fucking bloodfest.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit of a
It
horror
is
bloodfest,
I mean,
yes,
they
it
even
is.
kill kids when Steamroller goes over that hill. I mean, it is pretty gruesome, isn't it? It is. That little kid's running at Steamroller, and you see Steamroller just rolling over, you know.
I like the machine gun on a metal pole that follows them around.
Yeah, I did.
And it's all like, and the barmaid, she just sort of like goes, "What the hell are you doing to my cafe?" And he just goes, and she goes, "Ah!" And it's like, I just found it quite enjoyable. I mean, the ending was really weird, but it just sort of says, "Oh, and now the comet has passed over." They don't actually say narration like in
Did
Planet
you
of the
see
Apes.
what came up at the end with the writing?
No, what did it say? What was it?
Oh, that's the fact that tells you what's going on.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was instead of having an
yep.
audio thing, it has this thing where eventually it passed over and everything went back to normal. Although we didn't see that in the movie, which I thought was quite interesting.
No, we didn't, and I'd like to cover that when we
Okay.
get through towards end. So
Yeah.
I've got an interesting theory, which I think you may agree with.
All right, so when we get to that point, we'll discuss
Yeah.
that. So, I mean, what else did you? I mean, it was about these people were stranded in this like sort of restaurant, sort of cafe, and the vehicles
Yeah.
were just going around in a circle, round and round and round and round. And at one point, oh no, it was like a gas station, wasn't it? And they were trying to get more. At one point, they needed more petrol or gasoline. And then they were trying to sort of like dig their way under, or they're finding like sewage tunnels and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, but it's not exactly groundbreaking. But I just still found it very compelling. I just thought it was really enjoyable. So, what other parts of the film did you actually enjoy? What stood out for you before we get to the ending?
Well, I mean, it's over the top. I mean, the trucks figure out that to keep the humans alive, to keep petrol, just kind of been circles.
Yeah.
All that. And I'm thinking, well, petrol's going to run out. How survive? They're going to go to this island where there's no machines and all this. But I mean, and happily in the cellar, there's half a ton of rockets and machine guns ready to take these things out. I will say, the Green Goblin truck. Your main one, yeah. I found that had personality in this film. I found you do associate as some sort of like the villain in the film.
Well, it reminded me. It reminded me of Duel, which isn't a science fiction film, but it's one of my all-time favourite movies with Dennis Weaver. And of course, it was all about the truck, and it was the guy in the red car. And of course, the main protagonist vehicle or representation of this force was the Green Goblin truck. And I think that was the whole point. And it was a very strange film. It was such a mix of, normally you don't sort of like get. It's not a proper comedy. It's not a proper horror. It's not a proper science fiction. It's like all different random elements that are thrown together. But for me, and I don't quite know why, it works.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. The film works, and
I don't know.
But you know where I mean, there is big holes in it, and but it's like with a guy that goes to the ATM and it calls him an asshole. You know, and I watched it in 2 parts over the weekend, and I like the thing with the dispensing machine. You know, with the cans of Coke, it kills that adult, and then it starts. I mean, it starts killing the kids, doesn't it? Cans of Coke.
Yeah.
I mean, it is quite a gross film, especially with that electric saw. Night Meat Cutter.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's quite
that bit.
gruesome,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was pretty gruesome.
But I mean, that's where this film is funny. It's like and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but when the steamroller runs over that kid, I mean, you see it. You see the kid's cap. You know, and I started laughing, and I shouldn't.
I know, but it is funny. It is funny.
But I don't think you'd get away with that today. I think like the people will be up in arms about it. But this film, I've got to say, that I don't have an affection for it. I don't think I could go back to it. I think once every 10 years is enough.
Yeah, I've only seen it about 2 or 3 times my entire life.
Yeah, same for me.
I wouldn't see it again for a while. I would see it again in the future, but not for quite a long time.
A few years, yeah. This first time I've gone back to it in 10 years. It's not something I'd slip on and put on and watch.
No, but it's worth checking out especially to review it and get your perspective or what you think about it. And
it's first time you're the probably first person who've actually sort of thoughts about this film. You know,
I don't know how well known it is. I mean, I knew
of a cult.
Yeah. I mean, we both knew of it anyway before we sort of like started the podcast. But
I think he nicked his idea from Killdozer.
I've heard of Killdozer. I've not seen it.
Killdozer looks like a TV movie, but I think it did get released at cinema. It's been voted one of the worst films ever made. You know, it's into. I mean, basically, it's an extraterrestrial thing that takes over a bulldozer and starts killing everybody on this island. It starts hunting a big, like, 50-foot bulldozer.
Wow.
And it's just they electrocute it. Because it won't, you know, it's just because this like intelligence. Now I did look into Killdozer, and this is where like the sort of common thing with Maximum Overdrive about the aliens. Apparently, there was a massive war thousands of years ago with some alien beings that lived on Earth, and they created some weapon that took over machinery, but they destroyed the other aliens, and one of these things survived and crashed on Earth, and it took over a bulldozer. That you don't get this in the film, but in the book, which
you've broken up a minute. It might be my end. Give me a second.
And I think he took something from it, Killdozer, and Maximum Overdrive. I think they should have focused more on the alien thing with this.
Yeah, because it wasn't really. It was the trigger for the film, but it wasn't fully sort of like looked into and focused upon. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. So can I just say, Zoom is really playing up again today.
Remake, like if there was a remake, where would you go?
Yeah, okay. Zoom is really playing up again today, so just apologise. Sorry. The last few weeks is getting worse and worse again. I'm really getting sick of this. I don't like it's playing up. Another film it reminds me of was a film called The Car. Did you ever see The Car?
No, what's that about? Tell me.
It was another
don't know anything about it. Is it worth looking up?
Yeah, I think it's another possessed car that kills people. It's a bit like this. I think it's called The Car. And it's, like I said, there's a few of these sort of films which focus on vehicles. I think it's called that. I still think Maximum Overdrive is one of the strongest, though. You're going to get some copycat sort of films which try to do the same thing. I think this is it. Is it called? Yeah, The Car. A small desert town is terrorized by a powerful, seemingly possessed car, and the local sheriff may be the only one who can stop it. So that's one for you to check out, Martin. The Car. 1977.
Right, I will do. Cheers for that. Then.
All right, matey. So yeah, good film. Did you like all the actors in it? Amelia Estevez.
Casting, it's a good film. I don't know what it is about it works. I agree with what you said. It shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if you go on.
Yeah, obviously you go on.
I think this could be remade today. I'll tell you why. Because of microchips. I think because back in 1986, I know they were out, but it's not like today's technology, is it? So cars are more computerized now, and gadgets and household appliances. It's all quite. You can connect your fridge and everything into stuff. I think you could redo this film
But-
today.
I think if they did it today, I think it would be more a horror than comedy.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd see. I don't think you'd see a kid getting run over, flattened by a steamroller.
I'd have had it where one of the aliens is in the diner with the people, disguised as a human.
I think there could have been some kind of entity or focus of this, rather than just we don't get that. We just get the vehicles are possessed. You know, it would have been nice to have some interaction. There was one point where the aliens were talking, or the machines were talking through Morse code, which I thought was quite a nice touch. But there wasn't much in the way of communication apart from a few basic things. But I still liked it though. I still think it's a solid film. So I suppose really, now, did you want to get to this end part? You said about something that...
I really think a remake had worked today, if it were done right.
Yeah, okay. But didn't you say that you had some information about...
I've just said it. I've just...
Oh, that's what you're saying.
What about them? Yeah, no, I like the ending. There was more at the end with the paragraph that said a Russian satellite with nuclear weapons on it crashed to the alien ship that was controlling all this.
Yeah.
I just think in 1986 they wouldn't have been able to control everything. But I think with everything today with a chip in it or Bluetooth, I think you could make it quite scary.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. Because it's not a really big, serious film. Oh, this fucking Skype is getting on nerves today. I think a remake would be interesting. I would like to see it. I would definitely like to see it. But you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's
done right.
Yeah, it had to be.
I meant TV series would work on Netflix.
I was going to say they could make it into some sort of TV movie or something. Rather than, I mean, I think it would work as a TV movie rather than a bigger film. It wouldn't be something you get to see at the cinema. It wouldn't be like a big multi-blockbuster movie.
No.
I can't see that happening.
No. But I think you could set like a small town up where the machines in the town have been taken. The people see a light in the sky. Some aliens have come down. One person in the town is behind it all, and it's controlling all the machines in this town. It's like the test run for the bigger invasion.
Okay.
And then something happens where you could have the same ending where a weapon satellite knocks out something of theirs accidentally or takes it out, and that's how you do it. But I'd have one of the people in that diner would have been an alien.
Would have been interesting.
You wouldn't have known till ending. You wouldn't have suspected it. That's where I'd have come in with kicker for this film.
So I suppose at this point we should give it our normal rating out of 10. What would you give this out of 10? I think I'll say mine is I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think I liked it. I don't love it. Go on.
I was thinking just before you said that a 7. I was going to give this a 7 because I think there's something about this film. I don't know what it is. You're right. This thing should not work.
No,
it shouldn't work, but it does.
It does.
So he got something right. Something right. It's a shame he's disowned it.
What's amazing is that we often do think alike about a lot of these things.
Yeah.
I don't know why we
7.
did. Yeah. All right. That's good. Nice one. Brilliant. Okay, but that's pretty much it for that one. I think that's definitely worth. So check it out. If we ever get a remake, then I'm sure we'll review it on the actual podcast at some point in the future. Right. On that note, shall we go into our Solar One Sci-Fi News? Shall we go into that one? You ready?
Oh yes.
Here we go.
Working.
Solar Sci-Fi News. All right, so this week our news is, well, it's more a review as well as news, really. Of course, we are now in the midst of a lot of great stuff going on with new Star Wars, new Star Trek, and everything else. And we've now both seen Episode 2 of Star Trek Picard Season 3. So, Martin, what did you think of Episode 2?
Absolutely splendicious.
Splendicious. Okay.
Splendicious. It's superb.
Yeah.
I watched it twice. I watched both together, and then I watched the second one again.
I've watched it 3 times myself. I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a third go, I think. Yeah.
I haven't done that with Star Trek for a long time, where I'm watching... I've done a bit with...
No, I did it with the pilot.
Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I did that as well. So obviously at this point, spoilers if you've not seen it. Be aware that we're talking about stuff that you get, but even by this point, most people who want to see it would have seen it by now. Jack Crusher is potentially Picard's son. How did you feel about that? I mean, it was quite obvious. We knew it was. We thought it was going to come.
We predicted that last week, didn't we?
Are you happy now it's been confirmed, or it seemingly it's been confirmed at least? What do you think about the whole thing?
I didn't bother me. I thought fair enough. They had a bit of a thing, didn't they?
Apparently, after Nemesis, they did have something. Now, of course, the actor who plays Jack is apparently in his early 30s. He's a bit older, and they confirmed.
Lady though, what about her? She didn't get.
Oh, Laris. I don't know what's going to happen with her now. I think.
Hello.
Oh God, is it playing up again?
Yeah.
Right, you got me back.
It's gone back to normal.
Okay.
Yep.
I think that character's now been finished. I think she's been dropped. She was a holdover from the previous seasons. So I can't remember the Irish actress, who's very cute by the way. But I think she's done now. I don't think you're going to see her again, which is a shame because I liked her.
I liked her character.
I liked her. I think to me the most powerful scene for episode 2 was just the look where Crusher, Beverly, is on the bridge, and she looks at Picard, and Picard looks at her, and they don't say anything, and it's like that was pretty powerful. I think that was a really strong scene.
Well, they're connected after what they've been through,
and her realizing now that this is my son, that you are the dad. I thought it was really well done. They didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the facial expression. It's like she were looking at him like going, you know what this is about. Straight away, and he connected because they served together.
Yeah. It reminds me of the very first time we saw them together in Encounter at Farpoint, and Picard meets her, and she's on the bridge with Wesley, and that was 35 years ago, and it's amazing that all the actors are back. It's so good that they got all the next generation back for this season. It's just what Picard needed.
Yeah, well, there was that episode from TNG where it's 7th season where they were on that planet and them
attached
emotional devices. They're connected.
Yeah, they always have been.
So and I think the fan base would have liked to have seen them two get it off, really.
In the last episode, in the alternate future, Picard and Crusher had been married.
Yeah.
So it's good continuity with their relationship over the past. What do you think about seeing Worf back as well, even though we didn't see much?
When I said on my review, I was. Let me just say this before back in the 90s, we knew Klingons were quite bloodthirsty, but they couldn't show them being totally bloodthirsty
because of
how it all was.
Yeah.
But so people, you don't really realise that these are, they are violent, killing people, Klingons.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see a lot of that in 90. You knew what they were like, but to see what did it for me, I was watching it and I thought the first thing before I got to Worf, they got the Ferengi back.
Oh, and they got the makeup just about right as well.
I was looking at a Ferengi, greedy, gluttonous troll.
Sheen, I think Sheen was like that. He was a good character as well. I liked his character.
Brilliant. And then this dude coming. And everybody was just getting taken out. And when I recognised him was the ponytail at the back.
Yep.
I stood up. I was sat on the chair and I went, that's Worf. And it were him. And he just took them all out. With that song, he chopped their head. Even Ferengi, it were no messing about. It were done in a few minutes. It just went in there and slaughtered every one of them.
Some of the fans are moaning that he should have done that because it's not honourable to kill someone who's like a small little man or something. Everything they do in this series, there's always someone who gives something back, saying, "Oh, you should have done that. Oh, you should have done that."
But that's what they are like. What you saw with them If you're in a room full of Klingons, that's what they do.
What about the very first time we saw that these types of Klingons in Star Trek 3 with Christopher Lloyd as Kruge? What does his one of his minions do? He stabs David Marcus in the chest and kills him. Yes, it was.
Punchy. You hear the knife
You hear the
go
yelp
to his
sound.
chest.
Yeah, that was the first.
You know,
and this that fits
can't
in.
complain about. All they've done is shown what they're like.
And all they're doing is having a bit more restricted because it was more family based. I mean, I do prefer Star Trek being slightly more family based, but they they didn't go to some of the things they've done in Picard. So yeah, it was great. I thought that the like I said, this just makes Discovery look more off. Did you even notice that the Orions in Discovery, their skin looks almost like waxy? Their green skin looked like it was, and we saw an Orion in this episode. Yeah, brilliant.
It looked like an Orion.
Proper Orion. I mean,
that's what I mean.
I don't understand what it is about
Discovery. I loved it. I've got to say, when I saw, is it Vladik the villain?
Vadik. Vadik is brilliant.
She was marvelous.
Now listen, did you notice that the view screen in Star Trek 6, when we saw General Chang, the sound of the view screen was exactly the same sound of the view screen they used for Vadik when she came on the screen. Yeah. And also, Chang, when he's firing the torpedoes, he goes to his mini, he goes like that to make them fire the torpedoes.
Yeah.
She did exactly the same thing.
Yes.
Love it. I think Amanda Plummer's brilliant. I love it.
She was great. I loved it how she had one leg up on the chair and she was
smoking
spinning around, smoking a big super duper whatever it was, and she was like,
I'm
gonna turn my shields off now and scan my ship. And it were like they scanned it and they looked at it, and I'm gonna say this, but poor Captain Shaw, I actually quite like him.
I like Captain Shaw. I've liked him as well.
Because 7 of 9, she said, well, you can either save legends or be remembered for the man who done.
And when Picard says, this is my son, he went, all right, fair enough. And then Picard sort of like taps him on the shoulder. And I thought, this series is just, honestly, I love this series so much.
Yeah,
this is the best thing I've seen for 20 years.
But she was superb.
I know she was. They all were. Everyone's great.
At that moment, she said, I'm going to drop my shields and scan my shit. Basically, even when on censor desk, she was like, yeah, we're going to get our ass kicked here big time. Do you know what I mean? Wow. I have never been this excited.
Not in 20 years. No, this is something special already. And it's going to get I'm honestly, I just cannot wait for what they're going to come up with. This is something more than I could have imagined. I mean, this is since Star Trek Enterprise finished. I mean, I don't mind some of the new stuff, and I like Strange New Worlds, but this is something special. This is already. And I'm really confident with this. I'm getting more.
And it's great how they're pacing it all out as well.
I love it.
And it's funny really, because like I look at Rafi and I keep seeing her now as one of the TNG crew now for some reason.
I think all this will actually make Picard the entire series. Well, it's early. I know we're not there yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But if they carry on like this, I'm pretty confident this one. I think that Picard, I think it's going to go up in people's estimation. If they make this third season at this level continuing, which I think they're going to, quite frankly, I think we're in for this is really. And you know that they're going to make a Titan series after this. They're going to do something after.
Oh, they've got to now. They've got
to because this era is so fascinating. So I know. Let's like I said. You can get too excited.
It's only episode 2.
I know.
The last 2 episoves.
Slow down, Michael Ball. Slow down.
We're into episode 3 now. If it survives this week, we're on our way.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I think it's going to, especially with some of the stuff I heard.
And I'm sticking to my line of 5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're almost halfway there now. So anyway,
where's Harry Kim?
Well, as soon as we see the Enterprise F, which we will see. This is Captain Harry Kim, the Enterprise F. Okay, what do you think about The Mandalorian starting? Bit of bad news. Apparently, episode 1 it's only 35 minutes long. I knew you'd be pissed off when I told you that. I don't care. I'm still gonna watch it.
Yeah, but they do that all the time though. Like
but Andor was 12 episodes, and they were like an hour long, and it was like watching paint dry. I'd rather have a 35-minute show if it's really fast-paced and really keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, where you feel like you've been watching it for hours.
Whereas you sit at Andor and you're just thinking, oh, what's for tea?
Have you watched Andor since? Have you watched it?
I've tried a couple of times to watch a bit of it, and I can't.
What were your general feeling on trying to get into it again?
I can't get into it. I can't get into it. Something's just
tried,
not right with
tried
it.
twice.
I can't. Something is just not
It's
right.
when I get to Cyril, I give
Cyril
up.
with the drinking the blue milk at his mum's house.
I can't.
I don't know what it is. Andor. I don't know. I can't. It's really weird. I just can't
Andor's so much hard work. It's so much hard work, Andor. But Mando.
Mando's gonna be fine.
I know that when that comes back tomorrow, isn't
tomorrow,
it? That's going to be kicking ass tomorrow.
I know. I mean, plus I'm watching.
Who's the predicted big bad in this then? Is he going back to Mandalore this season then?
I think they're going to. I think Thrawn might be coming along.
Ooh. Yeah, but I thought he's going to be in Ahsoka Tano series.
Well, yeah, but it could well be that he's introduced to Mandalorian to give him a bigger boost to be in Ahsoka.
I'd like to see Thrawn turn up in this.
I think we might see Boba Fett again as well. I think there's going to be some big deep fake character coming back from classic Star Wars somehow. I think we're going to have something. I don't know.
Well, it's rumored Sebastian Stan's going to be Luke Skywalker or something.
No, they've already done it with deep fake, haven't they? In Boba Fett.
Yeah, I know, but they were on about.
No, they can't do it now. They can't change it now.
That's what I thought.
No, they can't do it now. If he hadn't appeared, but he's done it. They've done, and the second time they did it so well. It was like they got the actor back from 1985 to filmed in 2023 with Baby Yoda and everything. So no, they can't have him doing it. They can't. They got burnt after the actor who played Han Solo in the Han Solo movie. That's what made the film crash.
I thought he was good.
I didn't mind him. I mean, he wasn't Harrison Ford.
No.
I mean, I'd say the Solo live action is my second least favourite Star Wars.
I hate the film.
I'm saying of all of it. You know
do you mind if I say this? I'm not detracting from Mando, but Solo was far better than. I'm probably get shot down for this. I found Solo better than what they call him. The 12-part series.
So, Andor. I do.
But, I'll tell you why. It's just quickly.
Go on.
Because when Solo went to Corellia, you got to see what were going on with the Empire and how they rule worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw they played that very well with like how they, dominate a planet. I don't think you needed 12 episodes to explain that. I thought Solo explained all that in one movie.
Andor should have been a 6-part series. 2-part for the first bit, 2 parts for them where they're on the prison thing, making those bolt things, and the other 2 parts when I can't remember how it ended. It was. And the episode, what's the average length of those episodes for Andor? Is it about 50 minutes an episode?
50 minutes. I mean, it just didn't offer nothing, is it?
I
wouldn't know. I know we chatted like several times in messages like after each episode, but yeah, I couldn't get into it. Now, Mandalorian, I can get into it because I know.
But Dave Favreau and what's his name? John Favreau and Dave Filoni are doing it. They know Star Wars. The guy that did the Andor series, he was making something in the Star Wars universe, but it wasn't Star Wars. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And I still stick with Boba Fett was actually all right, even though it was a bit disjointed. I still like Obi-Wan. I didn't like any of those. But I can't stand Andor. I honestly, every time I hear about them making season 2 of Andor, I mean, that's the least excited thing I'm hearing about, because it's part of the Star Wars universe that I'm hearing about. But it's like, look at Picard. It might turn around. They might make it good for season 2. I don't know. I mean,
but I think sometimes just because someone's got a title like Star Wars or Star Trek, I think they can just put something out, and just because it's got Star Wars
Discovery,
it's going to be good. And it's not, you and I are hardcore fans of science fiction. We know what the line is. Do you know what I mean? When we're
Yeah, but I
quite
don't
set
know.
on that?
I don't quite know what it is that makes something work. You and I, we're not. You know, we agree on a lot of stuff, but you and I kind of know when something works.
Yeah.
Largely because season 3 so far works. Strange New Worlds works.
Works. Yeah.
Mandalorian works. Boba Fett is a bit more in the middle, but
In and out.
elements of it work, and elements of Kenobi work. Andor is like, fuck off. Just go away. Just don't like you. You're boring. You're boring. You're
Yeah.
you
But
really are.
you're right. I mean, how many episodes at Mando? We're getting 6 or 7?
Eight.
Oh, we're getting 8. Right.
Always,
that's
it's always
cool.
8. Each season's
Is it
been
8? I thought it was 6.
No, it's 8.
So we're getting 8. So, your predictions for this? Who do you think they're going to get out of Star Wars canon into this? Who would you like to see? Somebody from Star Wars.
I
canon
reckon
that would be
they
around.
might. They could. What about if they de-age Billy D. Williams? And have
That's
him
what I
back?
was thinking. Yeah.
I think it's unlikely because the actor's still around, like they did with Mark Hamill. I could see him being involved.
Yeah.
Lando Calrissian. So I'm going to go with Lando. I reckon that he could be in it at some point.
I'd like. It'd be interesting. Is Moff Gideon back in this?
Yeah, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I know that in Star Wars canon, the Empire absolutely leveled Mandalore, turned the buildings into glass.
I think you're going to see it levels. You're going to see it. Yeah. But I've
Because that was
seen.
Palpatine that did that, because it was a threat to him.
Is it
you
the
know.
Night of Tears or something when they destroyed Mandalore?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that,
They just leveled.
We
the
saw a
planet.
brief clip in Boba Fett of it. Actually, the TIE bombers going across.
the TIE bombers, because anything that was a threat. I mean, the Mandos are race of warriors, you know. They've always, if they're not fighting against each other, they're fighting against their neighbours, you know. And it's like, my prediction is, this is going to be heavily about the dark saber this season. Because you know
Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan's going to be
in
sort of-
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, Bo-Katan.
She believes she should be leader of the new Mandalore, doesn't she? She's got ambitions.
And she needs the dark saber to be the leader.
And he's not that bothered about it. Is
No,
he? I
but
mean, he even
but she
offered to
can't-
give it to
He
her.
can't give it to her. She's got to win it through battle.
Yeah, and he offered it to her, didn't he?
That's right, and she
I
could
don't
accept
want
it, yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be interesting. Is she going to make a move on him? Does she become the villain? I mean, is this like later in the? Is she like?
What if there's some sort of political thing where basically they rule together on Mandalore?
I don't know.
But then
It's gonna be
it's not going to be, because it's always been that he's always going places. One thing I did hear, apparently they've said that there's no end predicted yet for the Mandalorian. It could go on potentially for years and years and years. The writers have said that they normally do 8 episodes per season. I think they've written season 4 already, and they're going to start filming it this year. But it's already been planned for season 5, season 6. One thing I did hear, apparently Disney might be starting to cut the purse strings a bit, sort of like save a bit of money on certain new TV shows. Apparently they want to save a bit of
Yeah,
money.
they're cutting back on the Marvel stuff on the TV.
So,
stuff
but I think there'll
yeah.
also be a bit less money per episode. But they could do all sorts of things to save money. You know, they're very.
I think the Mando, that's good. If they can keep,
They'll keep that because that's the biggest thing, probably one of the biggest things for Disney. So they'll, you know, it might be. I mean, please, what about if they? I tell you what, let's save the money and let's rather having a full 12 episode season 2 of Andor, just make it 6 episodes and then save the money and put.
Just don't make
or
a
just
season
cancel.
Just don't make a season at all. Do you know what I mean? Just please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know, but
Please. I can't take
I
any
want
more
to
of
like
him and
it.
his mother.
I want to like it, but it's boring.
I know.
It's
I know.
boring.
2 episodes in Death Star prison.
Yeah,
Or what,
making
it's
Lego
3
bricks,
episodes?
making Lego or something, whatever it is, and like.
And then they tried to shock us all at ending that 1 minute sort of clip of it's the
even
Death
Moxie
Star.
from Alvida Sempet couldn't save that series.
Yeah, it's barely ended up after building sites, you know what I mean? Fucking, yeah, I'm sorry for my, I'm sorry, but Andor was just complete utter bollocks.
It was.
It was.
It was.
And I still, even now, why have they got him and his mother in it?
My son is a big
Sorry.
Star Wars fan, right? And he doesn't like Star
yeah.
Trek. I've tried Star Trek. He doesn't. He loves Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I said, don't bother with Andor, mate. And he said, if you don't recommend it, I won't watch it. And that's how bad it is, because he'd like to. Don't watch it, because he likes fast-paced stuff. Because he's only 15. And he'd be bored to tears if he watched that. So he's not watching.
Are we getting another series of Obi-Wan then?
I don't know. Apparently, Liam Neeson, he was having a go about all this various Star Wars series, and he won't be back. I don't know. I'd like to see Obi-Wan again, but if we didn't get him again, then I would be devastated. I think that what they did in the first season was pretty good. It looked a bit cheap in certain elements, but I've got quite a soft spot.
You said that.
I've got a soft spot for Obi-Wan.
You surprised me though when you said that about cheap in certain places.
Well, there was one scene where they were going towards a barrier, and there's a stormtrooper goes across and he ends up cut in half. It was obviously a location, and it was literally just like one little tiny thing with this bar, and there's these stormtroopers. It looked a bit, they could have made that look a bit more, just more epic kind of thing. And what do you think? I mean, I still think he looked. I don't know. I just like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know.
I watched Obi-Wan again, and second time I started to appreciate it more. I started to understand why we like he was.
Yeah.
I went from it like a new approach. The guy's on his own. He's got no support. He's not even Yoda's in concert. He's just on this desert planet watching over a kid, and he can't use any ability because he might be sensitive. He does, and he's got to just stay out of the way for the rest of his life. I mean, you can understand why he gets depressed.
Yeah.
And he's got to live, and there's no money coming in from Jedi. He needs money to live on. He's got to, you can't just, and, when the whole thing starts, the Reaver thing, I didn't think there was any need for it. That I found ridiculous. The whole Reaver
I didn't mind it. It was all right.
All right. I sort of know where you're coming from, but for me, you didn't need it.
I'll tell you what you didn't need. You didn't need her in the last episode where Obi-Wan and Vader are fighting on that planet, and they kept going back to Luke's home, and then Reva's after Luke, and it's sort of like disjointed that whole epic scene where Obi-Wan's finally sort of like meeting Vader, and of course that was a bit, but I still don't mind that. This, to me, Obi-Wan is so much better than Andor.
No, Obi-Wan's good.
I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Obi-Wan, what made Obi-Wan for me, like the Mandalorian, Obi-Wan sort of, it was the last 2 episodes. It was like, we got 3 sort of drabby sort of episode, but this is him getting his mojo back. And his confidence.
And it was all building up to that last.
Yeah, and it was building up to the last 2. But when Vader, when he found out Anakin was Vader, the fear on his face, and Anakin, Vader wiped the floor with him.
Yeah,
just totally wiped the floor. But something happened with him, and he got himself back, and he kicked Vader's
all
ass.
Good. And I think the girl that played Leia was really good as well. I just thought it's good. I'm always like I said, if they did a second season, the reason why I'm saying that they shouldn't necessarily do one is that kind of like, well, how much more can they drag out in between? Obi-Wan is watching over Luke, and then we're getting to episode 4. That is what I'm saying. That's why I'm a bit on the fence with it.
Yeah, it's a one-off because
I think it works as a one-off person.
Because suddenly you can't have half a galaxy turning up on Tatooine trying to find him.
I think they did that, and that's about really they can't do any more without really breaking the continuity. That's
because he can't afford to pop up all over Galaxy.
No,
he can't afford to pop up.
Yeah.
So Obi-Wan's done.
I think it's done.
To be honest, I would like another season, but it's where do you take it? You know.
Well, if they did it in a good way. Good way, but I can't see how they can do it in a good way without really. That's my issue. That's what I'm saying.
But what's he going to do? Fight Vader again? You've seen that.
No, that's it. That's the last time.
You're right. It's leave it now. That's
Yeah,
leave
personally.
it.
Although I do like, I do like the character, and
Well, I loved the ending when he did Vader, and he just said, "Anakin, I blame myself all these years for your downfall, and you've done it to yourself." And he said, "I'm going to let you live, because basically you've got to look at yourself every day. I'm just going to go disappear and get on with my life." And I love that. And he was screaming out his name and this Dark Lord. That when you start looking into Vader's character, he's really quite a sad character, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you do pity him because he has been used and manipulated, but it don't give him the excuse for the things he's done. But you can see that when you look into darker overtones, he has been nothing but used by people.
No.
You know what I mean?
He's still that little boy on Tatooine. Or
Yeah.
Naboo. No, it was. But where was he? No, he wasn't Tatooine. Yeah, he was always kind of ending up in the wrong sort of situation, and
Yes,
it was
yeah.
a
And
sad
it's a
character. Sad character.
But in the Mandalorian, I would like a Palpatine connection because I think you quote me if I'm wrong. You remember when they were trying to kidnap little Grogu all the time?
We saw a laboratory.
Yep.
It looked like, I swear I saw a Snoke in the background.
You probably did.
It looked like
Yep.
Snoke in one of those containers or something.
Because I think Moff Gideon knows Palpatine. He's working for Palpatine, and they're trying to get hold of Force sensitives to clone them for him a new body.
Well, I'd like it going
it.
into. I mean, because you're gonna have the First Order at some point. I mean,
Really?
Well, I think so, because the more we're going along, we're going towards the First Order. We know
You're
it's
right,
going to happen.
Of course, because this is
This
the
in between.
downfall of the Empire.
This is in between the end of the Empire and the first. I want to see that.
Yeah,
That was
they're
fascinating. Imagine seeing like stormtroopers, which are halfway between Empire and First Order stormtroopers. They can do some
Definitely
really
interesting.
fascinating stuff.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
all that.
Yeah, because Hux, that creepy officer in the films, his father, he's mentioned a few times. His father was the one that set
They've
up the
got to
first
do all
one.
that. This could be really
So-
good, and this will reinforce the sequel trilogy.
Of course. And if they do this, the last three films, which I'm sort of in and out on,
Yeah.
would start to make a lot more sense with the Palpatine backstory.
They could actually fix it.
Interesting. I
They
like
could
it
fix
now.
it.
I like this now.
That's
Yeah.
what I've been thinking. You see.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Wars fan as well as Star Trek. I mean, like I said, I do tend to.
You're right.
I probably spend too much time thinking about these ideas, but that's what I love about it. That's what I find
Yes, yeah.
compelling.
Because the Battle of Jakku has happened. The Empire's fallen.
Yeah.
So the remnant went off into the unknown regions to rebuild it.
Which is where
becomes
this is
the
set
First
in between.
Order.
Exactly.
So and they come out within.
And we know that eventually we are going to get a Palpatine clone because we saw him in Episode 9.
Yeah.
So I reckon this is all going to happen. The people, they know, they get it, and they're going to. And not only will it do us credit, it will fix the sequel trilogy as well. At least it will fix some of the elements of it, and I think they're going to do that. And I can't wait. Like I said, we got Ahsoka, and there's another one. What's the one there's a third series which has kids in it. What's that one called? There's another live action one coming along as well, but that's all set in the same time as well,
There's
apparently.
something called the Skeleton Crew.
That's it, Skeleton Crew. So
Is that what it is?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, so but I think that might be out the outer edges of the galaxy. I don't think there'll be a lot of stuff, but it's it's a bit like the Star Trek in the 90s where everything was set in the late 24th century. And you had all these crossovers, and that's what I was. Forget Discovery in the 31st century. 31st century's boring, and the Orions look like they're made of plastic, so forget them. The Ferengi look like orcs, so forget them. Forget Discovery. Let's make a new series. Make it Star Trek Titan. It's the next generation. They can even use some of the crew that we've seen on the Titan. Imagine having Picard's son in a future Star Trek series. Imagine that. I mean, that'd be.
Well, I think Titan would be good if 7 of 9 became the new captain of it.
What about the name of a new Star Trek series? Star Trek Titan. Oh, I think that's
Brilliant.
That's a good name.
Star
isn't
Trek
it?
Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Even the name of Titan. You know, you're gonna the Titans in orbit,
And they could have all those crossovers.
Torpedoes are targeting you. I mean,
You could have crossovers with DS9, Voyager characters, all the stuff. Even got the Dominion changelings, the Borg.
Well, apparently I saw a picture. We're gonna see a changeling in Picard.
No, we're not. I've seen
Oh,
it. He looks.
but
No, the crew member looks like a changeling. She's not.
Oh right, okay.
No, I've already looked at that because everyone was getting excited about that.
Yeah, I was. So
Yeah.
it's not happening then, mate. It's
Although
not happening.
I hear there is some fallout with the Dominion War, which is going to be part of this series. So, but I don't know if we're going to see founders and changelings and stuff.
I mean, the only time we saw Dominion were in a casino, and it changed into a
Tribble or something. Yeah, that was pathetic.
and that
was
was just
Discovery.
pathetic.
That was shite. That was shite.
You know, why would you become a Tribble when it could have become a hamster or something? It's just, you know what I mean? Come on, I mean, who the fuck writes this stuff? Sorry, who the fuck wrote that? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know.
I'm sorry. But who the fuck
Basically, Discovery is like Star Wars Andor. It's kind of like the most anti-live action Star Trek, Star Wars.
If you're the changeling, you're not going to become a Tribble, are you?
What's he going to become? A blackbird?
Well, a hamster.
A hamster? Why a hamster?
I don't know because
Why not a gerbil?
because Manimal could become a hamster and he defeated the predator.
Why does he turn into a Black Panther and start going like that?
Oh, not that, please. Fucking Tribble. I mean, come on. But somebody wrote that. So I've got, you know, that writing crew. I've got a great idea. And when they chase the changeling through this casino, we'll have them change into
can't
a
even remember
Tribble.
why was
and
it
all the
changing
fans
on
will
there?
love it.
Why was it
That's
changing
what-
on Discovery anyway? I can't remember why it was on there in the
I
first place.
don't know.
I can't remember what's there.
But imagine being in that writing room with them writers for Discovery.
Oh,
And
that's
I've
a
got
good
great
idea.
Yeah, we'll change it, and it'll change into a hamster. Do you know what I mean?
No,
and they're all like going, the fans will love it, and we're all
Let's
sat
go
there
to a
like
treble.
fucking mortified by it. I'm sorry. It's a fucking Andor and fucking
Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery.
I know.
Fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah. The worst aspects of science fiction in those two franchises ever. I'm afraid to say. Even Solo is better than that, and even Picard season 1 and 2 in some ways is better than
A
that.
Tribble. And these, I mean, I'll never forgive the bloody Klingons, what they did to them.
Oh, well, at least that. Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, whoever's doing Picard, the aliens look proper again. Picard, the Ferengi makeup looked pretty good. I think the ears were slightly smaller than they should be, but it was all right. I was happy with that. And we saw Worf, and he looked like a Klingon. He didn't look like an orc, or he had funny nostrils or funny ears. And
Yeah, but them
Yeah, that's
Klingons in Discovery, they had no personality whatsoever. did
No,
they?
no.
None of them.
no.
They won't laugh, they won't like Martok or Garon. They want
Oh
them
God,
type of
no!
Klingons,
I mean,
were they?
Klingons are, you know, although they're a warrior race, they've all got their characters all, if they're just well written. None of the characters of the Klingons in Discovery they're all just black and white. They're just literally just all generic aliens who didn't stand out at all. I mean, it's just
Yeah. Terrible.
Well, I'm going to end up this point now because we're nearly running out of time. So that was great discussion. We will certainly be talking about Mandalorian next week. And next week we're going to focus on The Fly, the original Fly. Help me! Help me! Something which gave me bloody nightmares when I was about 7, and it's still creepy now, the ending of that movie.
I'm
So.
dreading JPEG for that.
You've seen my graphic for it, haven't you? I've already done the JPEG.
Yeah, yeah.
I was quite pleased with that one, because that'd be cool.
I know it's brilliant, but it's fucking creepy, man.
Well, you know, I just look for stuff outside. I just look online and mix it all together. And to say, if we ever do T-shirts, I've just created a great Mandalorian and a Cylon mixed together with "This is the way?" ? And I think it turned out quite good. So there we go. And now the internet's paying up again. Hang on a minute, Martin. If you're still there. Okay, I think it might have gone. Okay, if it's recording, I'm going to sign off now because I think Martin's gone. So, oh no, Martin's back. I think he's there.
Still here. I'm still here.
Can't see you anymore, but you're frozen.
No,
in time.
I'm here. Honestly, I give up. Please. We'll have to try StreamYard.
We've had a rough week with this week. It's been playing up the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, Martin. Thank you very much for co-hosting as usual. Always love interacting with you and just having.
Oh, what's the T-shirt shop? I'm going to order this week? What's the T-shirt shop called again?
I can't remember. Oh, T-shirt Studio.
T-shirts, sir. Thank you. They'll be ordered Friday. Do you want a mug?
If you're offering, yeah, why not? If you don't mind.
Do you want some Y fronts as well?
I think that's a bit too far. Right, so we're still recording. We're still on the show, so we're going to
Yeah,
sign off now.
I'll get them sorted Friday.
Yeah, and we'll show it next week on whenever we get it, and we'll show them off.
Yeah,
So, Martin, thank you very much. We'll catch you next week on the Solo One Sci-Fi podcast. Live long and
Live
prosper.
long and prosper.